Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. You all requested it. Today we're talking to the students. Stay tuned. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris. Today's edition is Meet the Students, aka the surface, students trying to find or maintain their balance. I'm excited today to have two great and amazing students with me, Miss Amy and Miss Elyse, at this very beautiful college that we are in today. Beautiful day. And by the way, this has been by popular demand for Let's Talk Ed with Professor Chris, with people saying, you need to talk to students. We want to know what the students are going through, how they feel. So first question to you all amazing ladies is, are you all experiencing, or do you feel like you're experiencing college, or do you feel like you're surviving college? Amy, what do you think?
If I had to choose, I think I would say surviving college. Just in the aspect, I feel the transition from high school to college was very different than I expected. Okay. So I definitely feel that it was way harder than what I was thinking it was going to be. So as soon as I came in, just had to learn how to manage a lot of things. And
Elyse, what do you think?
I would say it's probably like a mix
of
surviving and experiencing. I know towards the beginning when assignments aren't as demanding, it's more like experiencing because you have more time with your friends and things. But then it becomes more surviving when assignments start to build up, and I feel like more is expected of you, and then also like other things that aren't school, like people might need you outside of school, just more expectations, and then that can be
That's great.
A lot.
So I like the fact that we're starting with surviving college, because that's the whole idea is I want to make sure that you all experience college, right? So this discussion is mainly going to be focused on how do we make sure that everybody inclusive. I said before that you're all kind of representing every student, right? I would think so. So as we go through this here, even if it's experiences that your friends are having that you want to share, then we'll do that. So the goal is, let's see how to make this a college experience. Amy, if you have to pick 5 things, I mean, you take it one at a time. If you have to pick 5 things that could change your survival skills or mode of college to an experience, what would it be?
I guess one to begin would just do like things that I enjoy more. So, for example, I like to play soccer, but I don't make the time to play soccer because I instead go to the library and just spend the rest of the day at the library. So that would be one. Another one would be food. I definitely think coming in, the food was not what I was hoping, like compared to home food. That's a big difference. And so each time I come, I always notice that I eat less. And then when I go back home, I start eating more, and then I can return and eat less. But I think that's like helped me maintain my weight. So I kind of am thankful for that. But at the same time, the food is something.
So I'm gonna take, you mentioned 2 things. One is the food, and the reason I paused for food is because the last episode we just did was student money management. And are you surprised that what you all spend money on the most is food?
I'm not surprised.
Are you?
Because you need to eat.
Do you all eat out a lot?
Depends.
Okay.
I feel like for me, but I don't know Amy.
Okay. Even back home, we've never been people to eat out a lot. So coming here, I don't tend to eat out a lot.
Okay. All right. So that's good, because that was one of the area that apparently students spend the most money on, because you're eating outside. So I could see how that could be a challenge, right? But I'm gonna hold that thought there. Elyse, let's pick some of your top 2 challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Top 2 challenges.
Yeah. Or what can make your college experience better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think working out and finding time for that. I'm like walking to your classes, like that helps and stuff. So you get to do that. Like that's the way to work out. But I feel like I don't really have time to intentionally work out. However, when it comes to food, like Amy was saying, you kind of eat less. So that's kind of like maintaining weight. But I'm not just trying to like maintain weight. I kind of want to gain muscle too. So it's kind of hard to like balance on like to be at your prime health. If that makes sense. It's kind of like a little hard to figure out the schedule for that. I would say for me too, working on my own personal creative projects, like having time for that is kind of hard. So then I sort of lose interest in doing that. And I might have some freelance projects that some people might want me to do, but it's kind of hard to manage the time for that.
So I think you're all being a little bit nice or holding back on, because really if these are the challenges you're having, then you're experiencing college. You're really not surviving. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but if these are what you're going through, and again, maybe you're being nice, so let me open things up a little bit, okay? You all ready? Okay. So my goal, again, or even wanting to do this here is because of students who usually will come to me and they feel comfortable, right? Trusting me. And I've had 20 plus years, in college experience. And I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very honored because students do trust that they can come talk to Professor Chris and I will be able to kind of help them out. So I'm gonna take some of their challenges one at a time to see if you all relate to them. Okay. The first one is with their professors and their faculty. Do you all think your professors care about you?
I do. Just for the major that I'm in, I feel like they come from that caring field. So they tend to really be laid back, or, extensions, they'll give it in that aspect. So I have mostly had professors who I do feel like they care for me.
Elyse, what do you think?
I do. To a certain extent, because I do have a new professor, so he's a little new to the whole community, the art design community. So I kind of called him out.
Right.
But yeah, anyway.
We're not gonna call out anyone.
But he's a good professor. It's just we haven't had the time to like build relationship over the years. Because there's professors that you've seen and then been around and you know of them and they know of you. But it's kind of like you kind of have to introduce your work, and like he's getting to know everyone's work and relating their face to their work and their work ethic. And so I feel like with that, it's a little bit different. But I feel like there's never been a super close relationship with any of my professors, but they are very gracious when it comes to like extensions, and especially if they know that you work hard, they'll make sure that you get an extension and all that. So I feel like they are very good with that.
How easy is it to get in touch with your professors if you need them?
Pretty easy.
Pretty easy?
Yeah. I send an email, probably get a reply in like 2 days.
I think you're doing pretty good, unless you've been very honest with me, because that's the number one challenge for most of the students, is they would tell me outright, I don't think my professors care because I can't find them when I need them, right? So, if you all have that is pretty good. Okay. Any other challenges before I pull one out of my hat here? Track. Let's talk about relationships real quick. Who do you think should be your best friend, and who is your best friend? Is it your professors? Is it your roommates? Is it your friends? How you're picking your friends to build relationships? Yeah.
To me, it has been friends. And, to begin with, right, as a person of color in a primary white institution, it does get hard to create friendships at first, or to feel, that you are a part of the campus. So I definitely think you just seek out people who look like you, and then from there you make those friendships. And I think I've never been like close to my roommates in the past, or to professors like that. I just think the friends are the ones who kind of stick out with you.
I would say the same thing.
Say the
Yeah.
same thing? Okay.
How she was saying how being in a primarily
Right.
white institution,
Okay.
you do feel not as connected
Okay.
a lot of times. So when you do find people of color that that are like you and that you have similar interests,
Okay.
I feel like then friends
Okay.
versus roommates. But I have had some good relationships with my roommates and stuff.
Yeah. So when we're talking about peer pressure, there's 3 areas that I look at. Okay. Is peer pressure usually comes with drugs, sex, and alcohol, right? And I know you're all very good students. Do you have friends, or are you pressured into those things?
I feel like personally I have not experienced much pressure.
Yeah.
But you will get invited to a party or two here and there, but I feel like you kind of know what you do, and usually most of the time they know that, okay, Elyse doesn't do this and that, so they're respectful of that. But yeah.
For me, I think there's been a good amount of pressure in the aspect that like sometimes it's like you become almost like the mom of the group, and you like kind of want to take care of them. But as time goes on, it's kind of like, well, why don't you try it with me, or why don't you do this? But there are some aspects, as you mentioned, like you do know your boundaries too, or I feel like I know my boundaries too, where I will get to with the peer pressure. And stuff.
So the peer pressure, I know one of the big areas is, again, relationships, either boyfriends, guys, girlfriends. Is there peer pressure that are things a little different now, or do you feel like you have to be in a relationship? What's the situation like these days in college?
Like you would want to be in a relationship, but I've never felt like the need to be in one, because I feel like ever since I've been little, my parents have always instilled like, oh, it's first your studies, and then that, like, don't ever prioritize like being in a relationship before things that will get you successful in a way. So that was always ingrained, and I was just like, I'm good by myself. And so I've felt in that aspect, I've been good.
Elyse?
And I've been like that too. I've recently gotten into a relationship though.
Okay.
So it's interesting, like balancing that.
Right.
Like having that mindset, and then also like being in a relationship, but then balancing that. So prioritizing like 2 different things.
Right.
I think it's been good. No peer pressure with that and stuff. I feel like the main thing is always boundaries with friends and in relationships. You just really have to set boundaries and like at least have some.
Yeah.
And
Okay. That's good. I feel like you all are really, honestly, very, very good. One, not falling into peer pressure, like I said, with those 3 things. When it comes to relationship, you don't feel like you have to be in one to kind of go through your college. I think that's good. All right. So recently, and I just mentioned this in the hallway as we're walking in here, and I'm going to get into stress and depression and, of course, the worst case scenario, right? Since we have to do that. You all mentioned that if there's any reason why you feel like you're going to survive or you're surviving college, is because of the workload and stress. Okay. Are you all stressing out? Yeah, to some extent?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think will cause that, or at what level do you think stress sets in?
I feel like it's off and on for me.
Okay.
Depending on like how much is expected from me at a certain time. Kind of like what I was saying in the beginning, how the beginning of the semester, when things are chill, I'm good. But then when stuff starts piling up and you're trying to figure out like how you're gonna do this, but then you also want to hang out, and like that was actually one of my points, was like managing your time with school and your time with friends and family. And it's just like you're kind of being pulled all these different ways. And I think that's just life, you know? But just we're at the point where we have to figure out how to deal with that and manage that, being on our own and stuff. So it's like the beginning of adulthood. So I feel like it's just learning how to manage everything so you're not stressed all the time, because you could let it stress you. Like if you really wanted to, you could let that stuff stress you out all the time. You could find something to stress about. So I feel like it's at the point of, because I was listening to someone and they were talking about how it's important to enjoy the journey, not just the result, but enjoying the journey. So I feel like that's where I'm trying to get to, is not stressing while I know I have a lot to do, but just being able to relax in that and not stress while I know that I have stuff to do. But yeah.
So I'm guessing, Amy, for you, it's probably along the same lines of what causes stress. Is it
sort of?
Okay.
Yeah,
what causes it?
I mean, I definitely think my second semester, like I got like really bad anxiety, and it was like just anything would like set me off, and it's like kind of wanted to close myself in places, or that kind of like that lack of confidence in being or beginning to adult really set in, and so I did deal with or kind of still do with some anxiety. And then with the stress part, I feel like there's always this like expectation to, want to do good for your family. Or as I said, the first one to be getting this college degree, I feel like I need to do it at the best that I can, so I won't technically fail the whole purpose of coming to college.
So you do raise a good point, Amy. You do raise a good point that just clicked right now. It's with parents, right? Do you know why you're in college? Yeah? Why are you in college?
I mean, I think,
And the reason I'm asking that is because did it get to a point where you feel like I need to go to college because that's the best opportunity that I have? Or are your parents saying you have to go to college? And again, I'm kind of reflecting back on our very first episode here where we're trying to justify college or no college. And I want to be very, very clear that there was a point in time where you felt college is the next best thing for me to do in my career, is the next opportunity. Or did mom and dad say, you're going to college, right? And you didn't have any choice. So,
I think for me, I think as soon as my freshman year in high school, I was set in with that. Like, I'm gonna go because I need to go. Like my parents, they didn't get their degrees. They're working really hard out here in their jobs, and I can see that they're doing the best they can to provide for me. And then my older siblings, they weren't citizens, so they couldn't come to college without it being like in-state. So, they didn't do college as well. And so I was like, okay, I'm the citizen of the family. I can do this. I see everybody working hard. If I go to college, I could be earning money, but earning it in a way that might not be as difficult or as, And so from early on, I just had that idea that I need to come to college.
Okay. And I didn't mean to kind of switch off target, but that was a point that was hit. But we're still talking about stress. Do you all know? Well, let's start with how you deal with stress. Let's start with that very quickly. How do you all deal with stress? Like when things pile on, what do you do, Amy?
I tend to like to watch a lot of shows. So sometimes I might just need to watch a whole season of a show and act like nothing exists around me. And then music and just taking a walk or two.
Okay, Elyse.
Some of those things help too, like music and all that. But also as a person of faith though, I feel like definitely praying and like worshiping. I know Amy and in our, cause we're roommates, so we tend to blast worship music and stuff like that, which helps out a lot, and just like praying and all that stuff. But
so that's good, because I didn't hear from any one of you saying, I call my parents when I'm stressed out. I go to this person when I'm stressed out. Well, here on the campus, do you even know who you're supposed to go to when you're stressing out?
Yeah, they always mention the counseling center to me. I feel like I always know the counseling services are available.
Yeah. Anywhere else that you all know that you could go to?
That, but I mean, I call my parents typically, but on campus, yeah.
Okay.
We could go to each other, I feel like, but
Right,
you know,
right. So,
I'd probably go there before going to
yeah.
someone
So,
else.
do you all know about a man or a woman called the ombudsman? Have you heard the term ombuds? Okay. He's well, at my campus, there's a guy there that I'm hoping to interview, but this is the person that handles conflicts.